if you want to get into a flow state really fast, just get hit by a car. It's instant flow state, man. It's like the most intense flow state you could ever be in. So you can think about your whole life while you're up there.
It's funny you talk about this. I have had zero confidence in most of the things that I've done and or written or performed. Just anything I've done comedically until, what was it, November of last year.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened then?
I don't know what I'll say I don't know, but I've, the last few years, I've just been trying to just change my self-talk. Cause,
that's so huge, dude. Yeah.
Cause that's my voice is me, but it's the angry version of me. And it's like, hey man, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get up. Like, what are you, like, you gonna let them? I don't know what the language thing is, but
whatever, dude. Yeah,
like you acting like a real bitch right now. Like what are you like? Come on, man. And like that's cool when I was like athletically,
right? Yeah.
But I need something different here. So turning that off was because I just been using that forever. So yeah, finally getting to a place where I can turn that off. Where it was almost like I had to isolate that emotion in the room. It was like, hey, why are you so angry?
Yeah.
And it's funny, I got a reaction.
Stay after class.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm just trying to protect you.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And then so it was a matter of reframing that. It was like, okay, you are I acknowledge that you are trying to protect me and I love you for it. Can we just flip this? Show love in a different way. How about we positive affirmations? And so I finally got to a point in November where it started to feel real.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. It's kind of I guess people can feel your energy. So if you're mad at yourself or you're being hard on yourself, surely people can sense that.
Yeah.
What? Now you've been doing stand-up for a long time, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
How many years?
I hate saying it. I do.
No, you're funny, dude.
Yeah, I guess I guess I'm not done. I'm not done. The cake's not over. It's because I've had stops and starts and distractions and years where I wasn't performing a lot. And I know, I guess when I got to that point in like November or whatever, I was like, I should be further along. I wasn't like beating myself up on it, but yeah, I've been doing it a while, but yeah, it just, sometimes it feels like I started yesterday.
Do you feel kind of like all of your work that you've put into it sort of starting to blossom now? Like all the seeds you've planted are growing?
Yeah. If anything, although I keep talking about comedically, I'm just comfortable being myself. Finally, is all it is.
And you can see that on stage. You're super comfortable, confident, comfortable in the moment. I see you. Sometimes you will. I'll see you work on something new, and you'll you're not worried about it not working or saying the wrong thing. You're just figuring it out, and you always figure it out. It's really cool to see that.
It's always interesting to hear how people perceive you.
It is. It's strange because, like you said, you talk to yourself so angrily about everything, and then when people are like nice to you, there's a part of your brain that's just like, they're fucking with me, aren't they?
Yeah, I was like, stop it. You trying to sabotage me. I was bullied for a long time. I know how this works.
Well, you're always going to hate your material.
Yeah.
Because it always needs to be improved. So.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you keep writing and keep getting better.
Yeah. But the big thing, man, is I've just been trying to be kind to myself. Just be kind and patient. Like, you're trying, man. Just it'll get there.
Yeah.
What inspired you to get into comedy, or what hurt you and made you get into comedy?
What hurt me? Like, who hurt you?
Who hurt you? Story? What fat did you fall in?
What
happened to you to make you do this stuff, man?
Which parent got killed in Crime Alley? Shoot, man. I hope I stay on point. So I was getting close to 30, and my mom, I don't know why she said this to me. She was like, when you hit 30, you're going to get depressed. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I hit 30, and she was right.
That's funny.
It's funny. I wanted to point at it. I was like, it's your fault. But I just started to kind of, I got depressed, but it made me just kind of look at my circumstances. I was married, I got kids, and I'm doing all these things for my family, which is admirable, but it felt like I hadn't accomplished anything for myself. That's what it felt like. And I was, funny person in my horseshoe of friends. And I was also on a boxing message board, doghouseboxing.com. What's up, fellas? It was a forum I used to be on with my homeboys, and they thought I was funny there too. Oh, so cool. I was like, maybe I should try something.
Yeah.
And so here we are.
It's funny you said the thing about being depressed at 30.
I'm looking forward to that.
Because, stand up really, it forces you to like self-analyze your life and really think about all the issues you've experienced and all the positive and negative things in your life.
I agree.
And I've learned so much about myself since I started doing stand-up. Really, since I started giving into the more creative side of my mind.
Also, that little that glare into the distance giggle. Yeah, I felt that. It's that memory. I mean, interrupt you.
No, but it's well, when I lost my leg, that's when I just got into acting, started taking acting classes right before I lost my leg. And then, but I'd also been through some huge financial losses too. Right then, I'd lost about everything. Just had some major business implosions, and so I started pursuing my creative interests. Which I've always been an artist. When I was a kid, I really wanted to be an artist, and but I didn't want to be poor anymore either. Yeah. So I pursued business because it was I needed money. Yeah. And but then when I started pursuing art, I started to really become more present. Because when I was young, I was always real introspective, and I think I lost some of that in business because business is just go 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 go. Yeah. It's very intense, and you can't really. A lot of times you don't stop and just analyze everything. You just keep pushing. And so when I was forced to stop, it really made me self-analyze and I think what I'm trying to say, I've never been so depressed until I got into stand-up. And I never really understood my depression and anxiety and all that stuff until I got into stand-up. But I'm still I deal with it pretty well. Yeah. But and I think that's the entrepreneurial
you had
traits.
That already before. Establishing. Yeah. So you had something to kind of answer to it.
Right. Yeah. Most entrepreneurs we're irrationally optimistic. Which I mean, we have to be because we wouldn't do anything if we weren't. You know what I mean? We wouldn't do the crazy stuff that we do and take all these risks if we didn't have that irrational optimism. Yeah. And but even with that optimism, I can see the underlying pain or depression and stuff, and stand-ups actually helped me figure out what like the root of those feelings and what that is, and that's a really cool thing about the stand-ups. It's such an underappreciated art because it is an art form, and it's I say it's like it's an intellectual art form disguised as silly nonsense. Yes. Yeah.
The good stuff's covered by farts.
A cloud of farts.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how much I care while I talk about my dick.
Did you catch the subtext of it?
No, but that self-talk thing, I mean, doing stand-up now, I mean, that's made me because I am talking to myself a lot more now. Yeah. And sometimes it's not nice.
Yeah, right?
Like when I started, I was like, oh, I got so much to learn, I'm dumb. And now it's like, oh, I have a lot to learn. Like, this is like exciting and fun and not a prison sentence, Like, it's like, I got to keep going, and then it's like, I get to keep going. It's like a weird perspective change for me, so.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it kind of makes you reframe things. Yeah, stand-up's been really, really good to me. Yeah, talking about the depressing times. I don't know if they were my worst, but I have been in some real things, especially in the last few years. But anyway, I think stand-up it made me a better parent.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if either Jenny or Eric will remember this moment. I used to bring my kids to the mic with me on shows.
Cool. Yeah. How old are your kids?
Well, now 20, 16 and 15.
Wow.
Yeah. So I used to bring the youngest two with me to the old location, and yeah, Mom, the parenting I got was kind of interesting. It's kind of like helicoptery, but it was helicoptery and like just the no fun police kind of. You just had to just sit there,
be safe.
Seen and not heard, baby. And
get in the house and be safe. Don't be playing,
He was one of them. I think they were just kind of playing around, and I got like real sharp. I was like, "Hey, like, what do you just like sit down, whatever?" And then both of them was like, "Hey, just like, they're kids. They're fine. It's no big deal. Just let them play." And then I just sat and thought. I was like, "Wow, I am tripping. Like, what am I doing? Why am I talking to them like this?"
Yeah.
And yeah, things just kind of changed from
Was
there.
that from your childhood though? Was that just a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I have to. That's why I've got some bits about it now about waiting.
Yeah, right.
But it's I'm glad I waited because my perspective is so different than when I was in my 20s, in my early 20s. I was just a different human. I mean, I was still me, but it was just my perspective was way different, and my idea about how to raise a child was so different then. And now, I really treat my daughter. She's 7, but I treat her like an adult.
Yeah.
And I'll tell her when she's not listening and I have to get on to her. I'm like, Isla, do you want me to treat you like a child, like a baby, or can we figure this out? And because I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want to punish you.
Yeah.
But I'll take away your stuff. I'll do whatever I have to do to make you understand what I'm trying to teach you. And I respect you, and I want you to respect me. Like we have to have this mutual understanding. And you're 7, so there's so much you don't understand. And I'm trying to help you understand these ideas and the importance of discipline. I told her recently, I was like, discipline is like a bubble, and I have to discipline myself too. And if you don't have any discipline in your life, then nothing will make you happy. You'll be unsatisfied with everything because your bubble's too big. So you got to keep that bubble tight so you're satisfied. But it's interesting being a parent, and I do have those moments where I see like my dad or my mom, and they were intense parents, and I love my parents, but it was I grew up in the 80s and 90s like you, and it was brutal sometimes. It was. And we were poor also, so it's not just them disciplining me. It's they're in pain and they're hurting, so when they get upset, they get real upset. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to adjust from all that too, and not pass that on. Yeah. So that's. And that sounds kind of like what you're talking about too. It's cool that you have the introspection to see that and be like, oh yeah, why am I so intense?
Yeah. It's funny, man. Like I didn't want to, like a lot of people. I didn't want to have them. I didn't want to have kids like at all. As I was like, man, I'm too fucked up. Like, and it, therapies, and at that time it was, you couldn't be this shade and go to therapy. It was, it was kind of, yeah. So, yeah, geez, man. I was like, yeah, I don't want to pass that down. And then I remember, my oldest, I spanked him a couple of times, and I think the last time I did, I was like, this cannot be a thing. This can't be a thing, because I don't want to turn him into me. I want him to respect me, not fear me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, spanking works to make them stop doing what they're doing, but it makes them aggressive. It hurts them. It's a real pain, and you don't have to. Like, it's a child.
Yeah.
You know, I can raise my voice and just crush my daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it's too much. And so you know, I spanked my nephew one time years ago. This was 10 years ago probably.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is not the way to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I was like, hey buddy, I'm sorry, man. Like, I shouldn't have done that. You didn't need that. And that was, you know, and I was like, you know, thanks for teaching me how to be a parent.
How old was your nephew?
25.
He was probably 8 at the time.
How did he take that? The apology.
Pretty well.
Pretty well.
He's a good kid. He's I guess he's 17 now, and he's a good kid. Like, he's a nice dude. But
I don't know how I would have felt like if someone would gave me a whooping and then came to apologize. Like, the fuck out of here. You gonna light my buns up?
I mean, I didn't like beat the hell out of him. I didn't give him one of my whoopings. You know, like I used my
took
hand.
off a leg and just beat him with it.
I still had 2 legs then. I had the leverage, but I didn't.
Oh, you're sorry? I can't sit down right
now. Man, that's man. Yeah, I've misunderstood something, and something came out aggressive, and then going and apologizing.
Yeah,
apologizing to them. Yeah,
relationships too.
Yeah.
Like with my wife, it's like being patient in relationships is so important. You know, and that's been something I've worked on really diligently over the years to really be patient. And I think I've reached a new understanding in my relationship with my wife. And I'm like, you know, it's like we all have things about us that we suck at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we all have our quirks and our oddities or whatever, but instead of getting upset at my wife about the things that irritate me that she does, now I like embrace those things.
Yeah.
Now I can look at those things and just kind of laugh and like, oh, it's actually funny. Like if you think like this thing that keeps happening, she just can't help it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how many things do I do that I just can't help?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's why would you get upset about it?
Yeah.
You know, like that's your teammate. That's
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you can't sit back and just criticize the players the entire time. Like, it's not
right.
That is not how that freaking works. It is. I've wondered how my marriage would have gone had I started this like the other way. If I would have like done comedy and then gotten married.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I also it was that probably I probably would have been a much better husband in person if I would have done it that way too. Has some hoeing to get out of my system too.
I feel like comedy's helped me be with my marriage in being honest with myself. Or if like I'm kind of mad about something.
Yeah.
Like typically I would be like, just keep it to myself, and then like it would come out in an unhealthy way that's unrelated to what I'm actually upset about.
Yeah.
But then like being on stage and something not working, and then if I'm like honest, that gets the laugh, and so that feels good. I don't know if I've like reinforced my brain to do it or whatever. So like if I'm like mad about something and I'm kind of talking to Maisie angrily, I'm just like, I'm not actually mad at you. I'm mad because I feel stupid because pissed on whatever and missed the toilet or something dumb like that.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like I pooped my pants. But you know what I mean?
No, that makes
It's okay if you did.
A lot of times when we get angry, it's not necessarily the thing that triggers the anger. It's something about ourselves usually. It's something that we're disappointed about.
Yeah.
Like we dropped the ball.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How many times have you been heckled on stage?
I don't get heckled a whole lot.
But how many times have you?
I mean, several. Yeah.
How about you?
Usually I ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they heckle me, or I'll just be like, yeah, okay, that you could, I guess you could say that, you know, or whatever. I try to diffuse it, you know, but I haven't had to I don't think I've had a moment where I've had to actually get into it with somebody or try to turn it into something else.
Another thing.
I try to avoid that.
Avoid that.
Avoid that if all possible.
As you should.
Yeah.
I've only had people be like a little too excited and just be like, "Oh, I do that all the time." I'm just like, all right, calm down.
Yeah, I know you. I've seen you before.
Yeah, it's like they're relating or something like, "Oh my gosh," or if they get there a little ahead, which I get mad at myself. I'm like, the drunk dude knows your joke already, dude. Come on. And then that makes me mad. But most of the time, it's just like, all right, chill out, dude.
So I was asking this because I'm curious if how you handling hecklers, if it's made you better in like when you encounter heated fellowship, like in your interpersonal relationships.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
It makes you better at stand-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that used to really mess me up. It would like get me in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah. This person interrupted me. But I've gotten good material from hecklers too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's try to just. I mean, you have to. It's part of the show.
Yes. Very much
so if it becomes part of the show, so you have to just kind of embrace it and try to move forward. I had a lady recently yell something out when I was about to deliver my punchline. And I was like, that's not the punchline.
Try again.
That's not a punchline. This is a punchline. Just pull the
Crocodile Dundee your ass. I think it's helped me a lot with like dealing with customer service, like talking to people on the phone or restaurants or anything. Yeah. Like I used to be nervous about a lot of that stuff, but now it's just like, what are you gonna do to me? Right. Like, I'll never see you again. Just like the people I bombed in front of. Or I know if I mess this up, it's like I'll get some. You know, it's just. Yeah.
You know, I also think that is true. Like you won't ever see most of those people again.
Yeah.
But that's why I want to do a good job.
Yeah.
Because this is probably the only time they're gonna. I mean, hopefully they'll see me again, but maybe not in person.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they'll see me in person again too, right? I mean, that's. But if not, then I want them to at least have a positive memory of that experience.
Yeah. So I lost my train of thought
about the heckling.
So you were just saying something about doggone it. What did you just say?
About the punchline, or
they yelled out the punchline, but it was another point that you were making with that you said at the end. Court stenographer.
Rewind it and play back on this stuff.
I think you said something about you get punchlines from heckle, like you get material.
I did say that. I think it was something you said made me think about.
It was a previous conversation that it made me think of something. Oh, it'll come back. Hopefully it will.
Yeah, it'll come back.
But so I was asking about that because something that I can't remember who I saw do this, so maybe I heard somebody talk about it. They were saying that someone says something, and what you do is you're supposed to repeat it back to them.
Oh.
One, you repeat it back just in case everybody in the room didn't hear them. Also, like if they're saying something stupid, you repeat it back. So like, okay,
so they can hear
like
it.
this is what you just said. These are your words. And I found in like when I'm in heat, like if I'm having an argument with somebody or we're just kind of starting to get heated, and they say something like that, I'll just repeat back. Where it's like, okay, so you said this, and then they were like, wait, okay, you know what? That was crazy. And then we're
that's
we're
a
good
great
to go.
idea, man. That's
good.
I'm going to use that. Yeah. Repeating what a heckler says is great. Like that gives you time to. You can rehear it.
Yeah.
So something may come in there, give you something to say.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, like did you really just say this to me out loud? You said this to everybody out loud in the middle of my set. It's just like you're painting this picture, and then suddenly they're hanging on your arm. You know,
right?
It's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to paint up here. That's funny, man.
You know I can see you.
God, that is great because that would help me. This past weekend, I had a lady heckle me at that show that was a really good show, and it didn't bother me because it was a good show, and it was like a bar show. So when I go to a bar show, I have no expectations.
A good bar show, wow, okay.
You know, it was. It's a cool venue, but
was this here in North Carolina or
Virginia?
Okay,
yeah, but it's a good venue. It's what is it? I'll think about it. I'll say it.
Okay.
But it was a bar show, so I expect people to be a little more rowdy. But at this specific venue, this is the second time I've done a show there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody in that room's engaged. Like they're all watching. They're there for comedy. And this lady, she yelled out something when it was supposed to be my punchline. But if I would have repeated what she said, that'd have been great. That would have actually made that moment funnier.
Yeah.
So that's good, man. I'm gonna do that. I'll remember
that. Were you there? It was a Monday at the old Jugheads.
Mm-hmm.
There was a real drunk dude sitting up front.
I think I might have been there.
At 7 o'clock.
Yeah. They get started early, dog.
On Monday.
Yeah. On that side of town in Winston, a lot of retirees.
Yeah.
The place was named after that dude.
Right. Old money. Yeah, we whistled on the top of his head later. Yeah, he said something real messed up to some lady at the bar.
Oh.
I can't remember what the heck he said. But he said it, and then I was like, say that again. And then he said it again. I was like, oh, no, I didn't hear you. Could you say that one more time? And then the woman, she was like, I don't want to hear him say that again.
Mm.
And then he said it again. I was like, I only wanted him to say that just so he could realize how stupid he sounds.
Yeah.
He wasn't there, though, right?
Huh?
He wasn't there, though, right?
He wasn't what?
He wasn't there.
No. He was kind of there. So he started. Back. It was like, you know what, man? I'm just a loser. I was like, well, it's good that you know yourself, man.
Well, at least you got him to a little introspection. He's like, yeah, I'm the problem.
Yeah, he just tried to manipulate the conversation. Now you want me to feel sorry for you? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. You're being an asshole, dude.
I know your tactics. Whatever, man.
Because they want you to be like, no, you're not a loser. But if you're just like, yeah, you are.
You're right. You're right.
No, I don't think I remember that one. But I do remember one time you had a heckler in Charlotte when we were up at, I don't remember what it was called. Star or something.
Oh, yeah, Starlight.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah, there was a woman that kept interrupting you the whole time. Like, every time you were trying to do a punchline, she kept, chiming in. And then eventually you said something. I don't remember what it was, but you said something, and then everyone was like, oh, and then you just walked. You still had 3 minutes left. But you were just you got the thing off, and you were frustrated, and you were like, I'm just leaving. You left on a good oh, and then she didn't say anything else.
Jordan was mad at me because of the way I left that stage. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. He was like, we're just, all right, good. Thanks, Giselle, for just leaving the stage like that.
Yeah.
She got a big reaction. That's that's the goal. What do you remember what she said?
Something about lasagna.
Yeah, it was something.
It
may have been something
or maybe you finished something like blah 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 lasagna, bitch. Yeah. Something like that. It was good though.
Have you ever had someone try to fight you?
Yeah. Yes. Like
while you're on stage?
Not while I'm on stage.
Or because of something you said on stage?
Yeah, someone threw... I was trying to figure out if I wanted to say the name of
you don't say the name.
Later. But yeah, we were all at New York Pizza, and it's a mixed mic. Maddie Sheet, shout out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm doing my jokes. Doing my skits. And musician.
I hate when people call it skits.
Little sketches. I'm doing my shit, and the musician, he walks on stage while I'm doing my thing to pick up his equipment. I was like, man, you could have waited until I got off stage.
Yeah.
And then me and him have a little back and forth, and then he does this shit. Before he walks out the door, he leans. He was like, hey, because I said something about I wasn't insulting, but just mentioned his parents or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, my grandma died the other day. Winks at me and walks out. I was like, you son of a bitch. And then I was like, I said something about, I was like, she probably died to get away from you. And some people understood what was happening.
Yeah.
This other young ladies, they didn't know, and they were kind of faded. And I was like, I know that sounds whatever. And I told them what the deal was. They weren't trying to have it. They started talking shit. And she walks up on stage. Or what was a stage? She walks closer to me. And I can't remember what her final word was, but
it makes it sound like she died.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we killed her.
Can't remember her final words, but we took care of it.
She met his grandma that night.
And then I grabbed a trident. And, I just started talking about her fucking. Look, man, I know we don't body shame, but look, if you come for me, dog, you gonna get it. And so I told her how flat her ass was and how terrible looking her feet were and how bad she looked in a sundress. And she didn't like it, which I can understand. You don't want to hear that when somebody's like right here in your face.
Yeah.
And so she was like, you know what? You look thirsty. She threw a drink right at my face. And I got real mad.
Did you realize my grandma died last week?
Right. You're my grandma. I got real upset. I was really upset because there was another female comic there, and she saw what happened, and like she didn't like if something would have happened with another, I would have stepped in. Like this is I can't do anything short of like I approached her so we could talk, but as soon as I did that, it was like you were being physically aggressive. I was like, well, when people throw drinks in your face, we got to have a talk about that.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna fight, but.
That's kind of the problem with a mixed mic like that too, though.
Yeah.
You've got
musicians.
It's not people aren't there for comedy; they're there for music or comedy, and people there for music don't want to see comedy.
So that happens. I go outside and a bouncer, he sees me and I can't remember what the fuck he said to me, but I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. I was like, she shouldn't have done that shit. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And he was like, and kind of back. So that was I ain't no badass in that. I was just I was drunk. Yeah. So that was why I just said it, and he believed it. And so that was.
You were soaking wet still, just like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I still had freaking a sex on the beach just dripping from the bridge of my nose. But yeah, that was the last time that freaking happened. Shout out to the homie. I hope he don't remember that shit. I really hope he don't.
Oh, do you know the guy, the musician?
Yeah. No, well, the guy, it was a bouncer. I know him.
Oh, you know the bouncer? Okay, yeah. I'm sure he doesn't care. He deals with that stuff every day.
Yeah. He's probably telling somebody on a podcast about it right now, too. Laughing.
Good bouncer, though.
He's a great bouncer.
He was cool with you. He knew you were upset.
Yeah.
That's funny.
See, that's about it. You had someone like come up on you? Either one of you?
No, never.
No, I've seen some aggressive people, but nobody's said anything to me. I just think it's crazy when people get that mad about stand-up. Yeah. And they never. It's always some dummy who's not listening anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the people that get upset. Yeah. Like stuff that I say, especially like I try to be really thoughtful about my material, and if it's on a mic, I get really mad if somebody gets upset because it's like I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, don't you
idiots? like that's why I'm here. Like this is not a show.
Yeah.
I know, and usually the ones that get upset think it's a show.
Yeah.
Like they're just crazy people, but it's like I'm trying to be vulnerable and articulate a difficult idea, and it's personal, and I'm trying to say it from everything I say comes from a place of love. But sometimes it doesn't come out the way I want it to. Because it's a difficult art form. Writing's hard, and writing comedy is very difficult, and
especially on stage.
Yeah,
in front of
with the pressure and everything of it's funny when people get upset about comedians and artists in general. I like art that makes me uncomfortable. Because it's just a reflection. Art's a mirror. It's a mirror of this current society that you live in. Yeah. And if the artist does something or says something you don't like, don't get mad at the artist. They're just expressing the ideas. Yeah. Mate, they're expressing something about society they probably don't like either. Yeah. And so get mad at that thing. Like they're just highlighting issues. Yeah. And so it's funny when people get upset about stand-up. I think if you get upset at a comedian, you should probably figure out what's wrong with you.
Yes.
You've got some shit you need to work out. Like, you've got some real issues.
I was like, dude, we're just up here reporting the news. Like, what are you on with this?
Unless it's one of those really bad delusional comics. They just...
say mean things. But I've never had anyone come up to, like, fight me. I did have really early on I remember this made me very sad, but I remember after like I think it was a show outside and at the bar, and I did my set and it was whatever, and then I was going to sit back down and a homeless man said something to his buddy, I guess, loud enough for me to hear, but he goes, "I hope he don't quit his day job." So a guy with no day job told me not to quit my day job.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, that's good. That should just inspire you.
Yeah, in my head I was just like, "Oh man," but I was like, "That's actually."
You should be like, "Hey man, how do you sleep at night?"
Yeah. And then he went up and crushed. No, he left. Because he got a free hot dog from somebody. I don't know what it was, but
you know what? That's the like. I don't think like the general public understands what like an open mic is.
No,
yeah. I mean, unless you're doing it, I didn't know what it was until I started doing this. So,
like we're just up here trying our best. I've tried to introduce that idea in my interpersonal relationships.
Open micing stuff?
Yeah, I was like, hey man, like I've never said these words before. I am open micing this relationship. So, and I was like, I won't take anything you say personally either. We're just trying to, I will edit it in post. Okay. Yeah. And then,
well, you know, I think what I'm
a lot of life.
What I'm learning, and Eric told me this a couple of years ago, is that if you, if you genuinely are, you know, a good, I mean, I don't think any of us are really good people, but if you know, like you want to be like some of us are good people, you know what I mean? Like as far as people go,
yeah.
You know, we have good intentions and we try to be good people and we really care about other people. And I feel like if you're that person and you're just trying to express an idea, I think just letting go and trusting yourself and trusting your mind. I think when I say things I don't mean or I say things the wrong way, it's usually when I'm trying to censor what I'm saying. It's like I'm trying to filter it. And it's that self-censoring thing that makes the wrong thing come out.
Yes.
And because if you're hesitant about what you're saying, especially if it's something that's a really deep idea or something that's really maybe a touchy topic or subject, if you hesitate or you self-censor, it
maybe it is bad.
It
seems disingenuous.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like it's from a bad place. Yeah.
And then because it's just tagging along. It also just misrepresents the information completely, right?
Yes.
Which is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. But when you have a strong point of view and you just let go and you just say what you're thinking and you express the idea, even if it's something just insane.
Yeah.
Usually people appreciate it and they like it. It's funny, you know.
He tried. I appreciate the attempt.
Love a good attempt.
Oh my Lord.
What's been your worst experience doing stand up?
My worst experience?
Like your worst bomb or
man, this year? I've had a lot of them. So it's
like on an actual show.
Actual show. Yeah. I remember I just started. I remember doing a show in Charlotte. I got walked on stage. It was my first time even just doing 5 minutes on a showcase. And he was like, "Man, you're not funny."
Oh, wow.
To my face, and then just walked off.
The host said that?
No, just some random stranger.
Oh.
What an angry
some
person.
unimportant person that I allowed some opinion effect.
But you remember exactly what he looks like, right?
Right, I do remember.
You remember that moment,
exactly
yeah.
What that homeless man was.
I can count the hairs in his mustache.
But then, like when we get told good stuff, it's like our brain is just like that doesn't matter, and then we don't remember that stuff, but we remember that.
Remember the bad.
It's crazy.
Yes, I remember that. I remember a guy, my buddy. It's crazy to even think that I used to be this way. Because when I would get feedback and when I was kind of early on, I would get upset.
Yeah.
Genuinely upset. That's crazy to even think I was that person. Man, Jesus fucking great. Anyway, guy, he congratulates my friend. He's like, "Hey man, you were really funny." And then he was like, "You were there." And I got real upset. Like I should have just taken that was a funny thing. In all actuality, I should have just taken it light.
But also, it's kind of an asshole move.
But it hurt. I let it hurt me. And I let him have it. I was like, man, fuck you. I let him fucking have it. And then here's the part that was just a sucker move. As I tried to play it off like I wasn't mad, I was like, oh, I was just playing.
You thought about it all night.
Yeah.
You're still thinking about it today.
Yeah.
Well, mainly now, I guess you're thinking about how you reacted to it.
Yeah.
Dude, there was one time, it was after a show, this guy came up, I think it was, I mean, I can say, some of them came up to Goolsby, and they were just like, hey, good set, man, great set, whatever. And then I did all right. But then the guy, I was going to tell him, yeah, thanks for coming, man. So I went up and did a fist like this. I was walking over as he was saying that, and I got there, and he was, like, saying good job. And I was just like, oh, thanks for coming, man. And then he was like, oh, you did your thing, too. And I was just like, no, that wasn't a sympathy. I wasn't trying to get.
So like, yeah.
I wasn't fishing. Have your opinion, whatever. It's fine. I wasn't trying to.
That's funny.
I think about that. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that guy thinks I was fishing for him. I hate it. I hate that I think of that.
I want to do this on stage. It's kind of relates. It was like, what is it? God damn it. Compliment a woman one time and she can like enjoy herself for a day. But teach a woman to fish for compliments.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it was that God, man, fucking hell. Man, just straight up silence. Just at a fucking thing. Yeah, I'm just making an attempt to. I remember this is in my weird voice phase at the other location, and I tried to do it. I can't even remember how the voice even went, but it was just straight silence. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dig my heels in on this one. Y'all not gonna punk me. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And then the headliner was mad at me.
How did the headliner do though?
He did well. He had to fucking dig himself out of a hole.
Yeah.
Because of my asshole ass. But yeah.
Were the people there to actually see him, or?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a fan base. I don't want to say his name.
No, you don't. Yeah.
I hope he's forgotten about me.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff Foxworthy.
You were up there going, you mommy. You were doing his voice.
And that man's name was Jeff Dunham. Idiot box legend.
You know him well.
Yeah, but I've had some. I'm really surprised, man. That's why I love Jenny and Steve, because they've seen me have some terrible sets and make some horrible comedic decisions, and they were like, you know what, come back.
Isn't that insane that we have that? As
yeah. Any other club, they were like, you know what, we'll just keep grinding for a year and we'll see you.
Yeah.
See you again.
Those bad sets are good though. Those tough sets are good though.
Yeah.
You learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah. They're good because it's like putting hot sauce on a corner you don't want the dog to chew or something. You know? I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. Do you what are your? I hate even asking this shit. But like, what? Especially because I know you're an actor too. That one of the things I was going to tell you, because you were talking about how you were blending the acting into your comedy. I noticed when you started doing the act out where you were like flying the noise. I was like, please keep doing that.
Okay.
Keep doing stuff like that, because it was the way you did it was perfectly done.
So.
Yeah.
The sound effects too and the mic.
Yeah.
And that you kept doing it too. Like it's just like whenever we think you're done, you could go back to it. It's always funny.
Like it sounds like he's actually doing backflips in the air here.
That's actually what it was kind of like, though.
Kind of like
it felt a lot like that.
Like I did it. I don't want to like be insensitive, but like, is it one of those where like it just felt like you were just it was just happening just for a long time?
If you want to get into a flow state really fast, just get hit by a car. It's instant flow state, man. It's like the most intense flow state you could ever be in. It's like you could think about your whole life while you're up there.
Fucking hell.
It was a really bizarre experience. It was very psychedelic. It was just it really seemed like it was forever.
Have you ever had anything else?
I remember looking. I was like this because it was the G-force. It was like I was just totally stretched out, and I remember like I was looking like this, and I remember seeing the dude's face sitting in his car.
fucking hell, man.
The windshield. And I was like, oh, I can actually see that dude sitting in his car and think about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like slow motion, dude. It was unbelievable.
What was his face like? What face was he making?
He was just,
fucking hell.
He was just. It looked like one of those scenes in a movie when everything slows down, like Deadpool or something. It was just slow motion.
You can count the mustache.
And I was really thinking about things like, oh, I'm like really flying. I can't believe that I'm this far up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't even weigh anything.
Yeah.
I just feel weightless. And I all these thoughts. It was just, because I flipped like 3 times at least. I was over 10 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And my friend was in his car beside me.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I just knew you were dead.
Yeah.
But
jeez, man. So you're talking about like a psychedelic experience. I guess your body releases that.
Oh yeah.
Fucking chemicals. So
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it was like a really intense flow state. Yeah.
I got hit by a car. I don't remember flowing.
What happened to you?
This lady, me and my brother, we were going to go get a haircut. And I had, don't you have a UNC starter jacket or something like that? Yeah. I had a Charlotte Hornets knockoff. It wasn't teal. I don't know what color that was. So it had to be like the Greensboro Swarm. It wasn't even, it was so off. I had my headphones on, and my brother, I'm like home on the side. He's like, Alonzo, here come a car. And so I like kind of do my little jog, like to hit to the side of the road. And I don't know, this lady, she tried to like speed and get past me. It didn't even make any sense.
Trying to hit you.
Yeah, she hit me, like she hit my elbow. Oh. And I just spun around like Dancing Queen. And no flow state. I hit the ground, and like I don't know why, like I started to apologize. Like I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Like I wasn't. And she just started cussing at me.
What? The lady hit you with the car?
Yeah.
A pedestrian starts cussing at you.
And she told the cops that I did it on purpose and that I tried to tackle her car is what she told them. I tried to tackle her car.
What did the cops say?
And he was barking. And
he was like, okay. Yeah, he had to make the note.
he didn't repeat what she said out loud.
No, he did not. He should have. He tried to tackle.
He tried to tackle your car.
Were you okay?
Yeah. I think I was. I had a huge knot on my elbow. I had to get slinged up for a little bit. Yeah.
I was amazed.
Didn't milk it.
I was amazed at how okay I was after my accident. Because you'd think if you fly through the air like that, when you land, you're going to get broken up.
Yeah.
But I landed. I really did land pretty flat, and I kind of caught myself when I landed.
So did you land on your back or like
face down, like this? And my helmet didn't even hit the ground.
Wow.
I was just like, oh, and it just landed just perfect. And my legs actually caught a lot of the impact too.
Yeah.
Because my legs hit slightly first, and then my.
You did like a Dragon Ball Z level plank, dude. Like landed like.
I was a lot bigger then too, and a lot stronger, and it still damaged my left shoulder. Like it.
It's a lot of force to.
Yeah, it stretched my brachial plexus, all the nerves. Yeah. So I couldn't even. I had no shoulder strength for about 3 months, which was not long. They thought it would last 2 years or something, but.
Wow.
And I gashed this knee really bad above where it was actually damaged.
Yeah.
But my whole body was fine except for my shoulder and my knee or my leg. It was smashed off pretty much. But yeah, I was really amazed at how well my body handled that impact.
Yeah.
So our bodies are pretty resilient.
Yeah, that probably also speaks to the strength that you were. You were just ensconced or encased in muscle.
I feel like you're the only one I know who would have survived that.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who would have survived.
I wouldn't survive it today, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
how old were you then?
I was 33.
33.
Yeah, my size I had a lot to do with how well I handled it. And also my blood levels were pretty high too. Like my hemoglobin was a little high, and it usually stayed around 19, and it should be below 18 maybe. Yeah. And when I was fully conscious the whole time too, and even all the way until they gave me medication to put me under for surgery. But they said after my surgery, they told me that my hemoglobin was like 3.7 or something, when I was at the hospital. Like, you should not have been conscious.
Jeez, dude.
But having that extra thickness in my blood probably
freaking helped you.
Helped me, yeah. Because I was bleeding for at least a minute, longer than a minute after the accident.
Yeah.
Because my friend turned around and chased that dude down. He tried to run.
Yeah.
And then he came back, and then by the time he got to me, it had been about a minute and a half.
Fucking hell, man.
And
were you still conscious?
Yes, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I need a tourniquet. Yeah, I'm gonna bleed to death." And he got a belt from a guy and put it on my leg. But it was close because I started to I started to feel tingly, like my head and my arms and my legs were like, they felt like needles, and my tongue was like real needly feeling. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I may not make it, man.
Fuck it.
And I was like, just tell my wife and my friends I love them, and I tried. He's like, shut up and keep talking to me. You're and then at the same time, I could hear the sirens when the paramedics were coming, like pulling up. He's like, dude, I think the bleeding stopped. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I don't see anything else. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm starting to feel better. Like I felt my body like regulate itself, sort of level out. Yeah. And I was like, I think I'm gonna be okay. But it is amazing what your body can handle, though.
Were you still religious at that time?
Yeah, I was more religious before the accident. I kind of questioned a lot of things after the accident.
You don't say.
And I'd already been questioning. I mean, I've always questioned things, but I was raised. I would go to church with my grandmother, my dad's mother, when I was really young, and then my parents started going to church when I was about 12, Wesleyan Protestant. Okay. And
that's the one with the cross with the little scarf on it?
No, that's Methodist.
That's Methodist, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually the Wesleyan Church came from the Methodist Church, though. So similar.
That's the only way I could identify.
But and I used to teach Sunday school and stuff, and I would, when I was a teenager, I was teaching adult classes, so I was all into it, But there were a lot of things about religion, or specifically Christianity, that I didn't understand. They didn't make sense to me. They seemed to be sort of contradictory. And so I, and now my perspective, and I'm, whatever your beliefs are, believe what you want to believe. I don't judge people on stuff like that. I understand, and I don't necessarily disagree with Christianity or any religion. I think they all have. I think religions are likely verbal stories that have been passed down over thousands of years, probably from a previous, more advanced civilization that got wiped out or something. But there's a lot of wisdom in religion and in Christianity. I love reading some of Jesus's teachings and stuff, like and some of the stuff that had been taken out of the Bible. Because those
are my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff. There's the Book of Thomas, which was a lot of Jesus's, at least his sayings or whatever, and ideas, and one of the ideas in there, and it's still in the regular scriptures too. But it's Jesus would say, he said something along the lines of, "The kingdom of heaven is on earth, but man can't see it." And I think what that means is that this can be heaven or hell. It depends on what we do with it. Yeah. And I still pray, and I still have these. I still believe in God, but I believe in God in a different way. I believe that God is everything, and I believe that we're a part of God, and consciousness is a big part of God. And I think the power or the idea behind prayer is that if you're praying these things that you want in your life and you want in other people's lives, and you're praying for other people, and you're praying for the society and for humanity, and you're sharing these ideas that you want to come to fruition. If we all can share these ideas and all pray for these ideas, and we all want the same thing, those things will happen. And I think that's what Jesus was saying. Because when I was young, it didn't make sense to me that, okay, if Jesus is God, then why is he praying to God?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Why is he praying?
This is redundant. This is
Was he praying to himself?
He's talking to himself.
And when he says, he's the Son of Man, he's also the Son of God. I am God. The way to God is through me. Yeah. I think he's just an enlightened human, and he's saying, we're God. Yeah. If you want to get to God, it's internal. It's inward. It's not outward. And you do need to pray. You need to know your intentions. You need to know what you want and what things you want to be better. We all need to know what we want to be better. We need to know where we're going.
Yeah.
And so I think today, for the most part, we live in hell. And it doesn't have to be that way, especially today, because we have these technological advancements.
I don't live in High Point. What are you talking about? Just a minute.
I live in High Point,
though. I know nothing about High Point. I don't know why I said that.
Hear gunshots all the time.
It's the one you hear everybody talk about. So it's like, yeah, that's the one.
It's either that or somebody will say like a Gastonia. So yeah. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But no, so my in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm closer to God than I've ever been.
Yeah.
But I'm just not religious like I used to be.
Yeah. That's because I agree with that. I think the thing that kind of brought me out. Well, I was like, it shouldn't take the threat of hell to make me be a good person.
No, it should take you wanting to care or just caring about other people's lives.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think everybody wants the same thing. Yeah. Like we all want, food and safety and love and this, it's because this is what it's about.
Right.
I mean, I've had a lot of success in life and I've had a lot of failures in life. And at my peak success, the best part of that is just having good fellowship with friends and family.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's we should all have the ability to do that.
Yeah,
and I think at the bottom level, at the working class level, most people don't even have that. And I feel like if you contribute 40 hours of your life, of your time, your life into this society, that should cover your basic needs.
Yeah,
and that would be a form of heaven. And I think we can accomplish that. And you don't have to take from other people. It's a construct. We just have to rethink the construct a little bit. Yes. We have to rethink how money works and maybe have multiple types of money and currency. And I think there's a lot of ways we can do it. It's a math equation.
Yeah.
And it's a people equation. Yeah. And honestly, if it works in a video game, it can work in real life. What's that?
Say carry the center.
Yeah. So there's definitely a level of an issue with resources.
Yes.
There's an issue with having enough resources to accomplish the things we want to accomplish. So we can't maybe fix these things instantaneously, but if that's our main priority, we'll fix it. If our main priority is getting to the moon, we'll get to the moon. Yeah. If our main priority is eliminating poverty, we'll eliminate poverty. Eliminate poverty without hurting other people. And, everything we do should be the first part of the equation is, does this benefit humanity?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then we need to figure out how to make it different and where it does. That should be the first thing. Is this good for everybody? So I think... And I think we're getting there. I just think it's, and I think we're in a weird time right now too. I think technology is inherently decentralizing, and I think power is really fighting back. Like real power, like ultimate power, is really pushing back against these changes, and they're changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
So we're feeling it. You're seeing all the fake inflation through price gouging and stuff. It's because you only have 4 companies that control all your food. So it's those things I think we'll fix, and maybe through the advancement of technology, when it just gets to a point where we can just create anything almost instantaneously, maybe power doesn't mean as much at that level.
Yeah.
So I don't know, or we just die before then.
Maybe the sun just turns into a red giant real quick and just swallows us, just burns us the heck up. Yeah, I absolutely agree about. That was dense. That was a lot to go through. I'm not anti-religion. For a while, when I was coming out of it, it felt like I was briefly.
Yeah.
Although now that I've gotten to this age, say again.
You get angry.
Yeah.
When you get out.
Yeah. I was like, no, no.
Well, it's funny you say that, man. I've experienced the same thing because when I started really questioning my beliefs, this was back when I was probably 33, 34, 34. Around my accident. Right. And then I remember when I was 35, I was on a business trip, and me and a business partner were at the Dallas airport, and I saw these nuns. Actually, my buddy saw me. He's like, "Hey, check out those nuns over there, dude." And I looked at these nuns, and they're like wearing these brown robes. They look like they were out of like the 1300s, like medieval nuns. Yeah, and they had these big wooden crosses and stuff. All right. Oh, are they shooting a movie in here? What is this? Yeah. And is there a vampire?
We're looking for a small Christ to crucify. That's what we're looking for.
Have you seen him? He's about this tall.
That's funny. But I being a curious human, I went up to him and I was like, "Excuse me, I'm curious. Like, what type of nuns are you guys? I love your attire." Yeah. And I guess the head nun, she said, "We're are you familiar with St. Francis?" I was like, "Not really." She's like, "We're Franciscan nuns, so we're part of the Order of St. Francis, and we're a branch of the Catholic Church, but we follow the teaching of St. Francis." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then she came up to me a little bit later, and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, could I use your phone? We need to call our convent to let them know we're running behind." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I let her use my phone, and then she's like, "Again, thank you, by the way, for asking about us, because nobody ever really talks to us. And is there a reason that you asked about us?" I was like, "No, I'm just really curious. I just wanted to know." And she's like, "Okay, well, God bless you, and thank you for asking about us." That was really cool. And
some people just want to feel seen, acknowledged.
But what was so crazy about that?
That's great. Yeah.
And this was my biggest synchronicity at the time. I think it was the biggest synchronicity I've ever experienced. And because I'd also been praying for like some kind of a sign or a guidance or something that I'm on the right path, or that or that there is more than just us. You know what I mean? Like like there's some higher consciousness or awareness to the whole thing, to the universe. And I got on the plane and I was reading this book, the screenwriting book at the time. And I'm going to pull up this.
And they were talking about the sister act in it.
So this was the page. This was the first page I read when I got on the plane. I turned the page to this new chapter, and this was the first thing I read. It was many years ago, while traveling with some friends in Italy, I went to visit the little town of Assisi, the home of St. Francis of Assisi. And I was like, what what is happening right now?
The patron saint of pizza. Go ahead.
And it was like, and so we took a bus up the long and winding road to the little church and monastery high on the hill where St. Francis lived, worked, and studied. I didn't know too much about him. I knew he started the Holy Order of the Franciscans. I knew he wrote sublime poetry, essays, and philosophy. The paintings and images I had seen had always shown him being surrounded by birds and other animals. It was said that he could talk to the animals, and his poetry and writings are filled with the harmony and union of nature, and that all life is connected by divine consciousness. All living things are related, he said, the birds, the trees, the rocks, the rivers, the streams, the oceans. We are all manifestations of the one consciousness. And as living beings, we express the life force that flows through us. Call it God or nature or whatever you want, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. And I was like, wow. I was just, it was such a profound moment, and I was like, okay, I got the message.
Perfect, right? Perfect timing.
But that was one of the most amazing moments of my life, and it really, for me, that sort of confirmed my intuitions about what reality is, or what reality is to me, anyway. So that after that happened, I didn't know what to think about religion anymore, but now as I've gotten further from that moment, and I've gotten further from where I was questioning all my beliefs and sort of like smashing my foundations. Now I've actually kind of circled back And now I see the beauty in religion and some of these ideas, and I think that humans have messed up a lot of religion. I think that we've used religion to control people and as a source of power, when really it's a source of hope and it's a source of guidance and a way to really create a better society and a better life for everyone. If we use it that way, So I have a lot of things about my religious beliefs that I had when I was younger. I really appreciate that. I appreciate them more now, and I feel like I have a more deeper understanding of those things than I used to.
Yeah.
Because you said earlier, Zoe, whenever you got out of religion, you were kind of like angry with it. Yeah. Is that like kind of a similar thing you're going through right now, kind of repairing your relationship with it?
Kind of. I guess I won't necessarily say repair, but I guess it is a bit of a repair. It's even when I got angry, I've been like I was saved for so long. I believed in God so long, like I don't know how to not believe in God.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess as time has kind of gone on and I gotten a little older, I don't know how you just kind of look around. I was like, man, like something intelligent created this.
Yeah.
This just didn't come out. This isn't. I don't know if this is just like out of nowhere. I got something did this. Maybe, possibly. And I guess it won't hurt to just acknowledge. Thank you for all of these things that you've given me, even for the things that I that was crazy. Last week I hadn't prayed since I was like. Short of like passing somebody on the highway and they're in like a fucked up situation. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, grace and mercy, Lord. Yeah. Just besides that, I actually prayed and it was just, I'm just like it's more like I'm just thankful. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just thankful.
Yeah. I was literally having this conversation with Ethan 2 days ago. That's insane because I haven't prayed in a long time either. Yeah. And then the other day I was like, driving and eating a cookout burger.
Perfect time.
And it was so good, and I wasn't trying to be funny or I was just like, thank you, God.
Yeah, it felt
like this is good.
Yeah.
And I never did that as a kid because when I was a kid, I prayed like, oh, I want to be Sonic the Hedgehog, God. Turn me into Crash Bandicoot or Mario or whatever. But I was never like. Now it's like a thankful thing. Yeah. And like, the other day I was praying for again. And I was like asking for patience because Maisie's car was messed up. Yeah. And I was like, oh, please don't help me lose my cool. And then I eventually figured out what it was and then fixed it. So that was cool. But it's like weird the way maybe it's just a getting older thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the teachings, man, so simple. Well, I can't remember the verse, but it's like, damn it, I can't. I feel bad that I can't even remember the verse. It's basically just speaking things into existence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I especially with like the self-talk thing, because like one of my favorite verses, what was it? And then David encouraged himself in the Lord. I don't know why that one just always really stuck with me, and especially at this time of me trying to like feel better about myself. I don't. Man, this may have been like after the 23rd Psalm. This may have been like Psalm 24.
Yeah.
Oh, it says, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. So if you read that, I love that thing. Anyway, I was crazy that I was walking around the house saying this entire thing, and I felt great after I finished it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is crazy just having to just circle back around and now being in a position where like I understand it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all that was, is I was just in a place where I just couldn't see. I was just looking at it like kind of surface level, but just didn't see the bigger picture. So.
Well, I mean, you think about consciousness. Consciousness is a result of complexity, and the universe is extraordinarily complex, and so surely there's a lot of consciousness in the universe. And I think it's probably consciousness is probably like the ultimate goal. And it's there's a scientist. His last name's Hansen. I can't think of his first name, but
Chris.
No.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you have a seat?
He's going to make sure that the universe rape anyone.
Yeah. Chris Hansen repeats stuff that people says, doesn't he?
He does. He does. Yeah.
But no, this guy has a theory that that as consciousness becomes more and more complex, as civilizations become more complex, they create technology that eventually turns everything into technology and starts to expand throughout the universe, and eventually all these expansions of consciousness will sort of fill the entire universe, and the whole universe will become conscious.
Yeah.
And it could be something like that. You know, there's so many. It's such a weird, like, reality is so strange. It's so strange that we experience this reality. We're a part of this reality. We're equally a part of this whole thing, and we have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're it's like we're the child waking up. It's, you know, when you're a kid and you wake up and you're really young, like 3 years old, and you're just confused.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we are.
Yeah.
Mm.
We're like the restless sleepers, you know, like we're the restless kid that's, you know, fussy and whiny, and we don't want to wake up, and then because we're confused, but then once we get awake, it's like, oh, yeah, I want to be awake.
Yeah.
Everything's here.
And I'm just hoping that we were born at a time where we can experience some of that, because, you know, it cannot be that way too.
Yeah.
You know, and for a lot of people, it's not that way. There's a lot of people dying right now in the world, and you know, in a lot of ways, we're responsible for that. Yes. So it's a big problem.
Yeah.
That's why prayer is important. You know.
Say that again.
That's why prayer is important.
Indeed.
You know. Indeed. Well, dude, I got to get out of here, man.
You do.
It's been awesome having you on the show, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do it again.
This may be the longest we've ever talked.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is your fault. It was like, I'm too beautiful to be around this guy. Just understand.
Yep. But it's been awesome, man. It's been cool.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I want to say on the record, I think you're extremely funny. I'm not saying
thanks, man. Back
said
at you,
you're
dude.
extremely funny. Please keep this shit up. Please keep it up.
Yeah,
sound effects, dog. I need more sound effects.
Okay.
Voices.
I am jealous of Seth's age.
What'd you say?
I am jealous of Seth's age, though.
Who is it? How old are you again?
27.
Already.
I almost called you the N-word. I really meant it.
Oh, come on.
I
don't waste it.
Remember being 27.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Any shows coming up or anything, or how can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, please follow me on Facebook. I don't have very many followers. I keep losing them. I think it could be because of the things I post. Hit me up on Facebook, Z-O Myers, M-Y-E-R-S. Hit me up on Instagram, Dr. Strange Zoe. I like to keep things interesting. I do have a show coming up on the 24th at the Idiot Box. Please come on out. I'm hoping I can get in that flow state and I can be the goose that God made me. And I also got a show on the 22nd at Roar. I think it's like a benefit.
Oh yeah, I've heard
you
of
on
those.
that?
I'm not on it, but it looks like a cool show though.
Yeah. Just uplifting teens with their confidence and self-esteem, which this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah. No, but I am on that 24th.
Yeah. You're supposed to be featuring, right?
Yeah, that'll be my first one, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. What about you? Got anything coming up? Plug yourself, dog.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I do have a show. I've got a show in Charlotte next Sunday. I think it's it's Carlos's show.
The
Redcon
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then hopefully I'll book something between now and then too.
Yeah.
So, but awesome, dude.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.